All right. Thanks for waiting.
Okay, so we're recording now. We're good. Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome to Student Alliance Town Hall. The date's October 1st, and we're in 2020. I think we're gonna start with some introductions. So, Naya, if you want to start with the introductions, we can go down the list.
Hi, everybody. My name is Inaya Hakeem, and I am a sophomore at GRCC, and it's a Thursday afternoon, and I'm president of Student Alliance, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm glad to have you all here, and I'm glad to be able to be here for you all. Thank you.
I don't think Nia's here yet, so I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Brendan Burt, and I'm the Communications Director here at Student Alliance.
Okay, it's my turn since Neil isn't here. Hey everyone, my name is Rala Kabbins, and I am the External Affairs Director.
Cool. We can go in a round table. So, or, anyone else who hasn't gone and isn't on eBoard. I'm Lina Blair. I'm the advisor for Student Alliance, one of the advisors, and director of Student Life and Conduct.
Well, hi everyone. It looks like we've got kind of the same people, but we'll do this. Again, my name is Ashley. I do work in the Office of Student Life, and I co-advise Student Alliance with Lina.
My name is Sarah Kenny. I'm the president of the National Society of Collegiate Scholars.
I'm Ethan McNeely. I'm an officer for Phi Theta Kappa.
Hi, I'm Paige. I'm on Campus Activities Board, and I'm in charge of communication / other things. We all kind of share.
Brendan, I think you're on mute if you're trying to talk.
I unmuted myself. Technology, what do you know? Anyway, I said we have a couple of icebreaker questions here. I'm just going to read them off. Then we can answer. You can answer either A. We can either A, answer all three at once, or one at a time. So the questions are like, what are you currently listening to, like music-wise, or like, are you listening to any fun music, like artists or podcasts, or whatever? And then the other question is, if you had a superpower, what would it be? And the other thing is, what is one thing you would bring with you on a stranded island? Does anyone want to start?
I can start. So for music, a lot of what I've been listening to recently is Tool, from the, I think I'm pronouncing this right, the Lateralis album. But last night, for whatever reason, I was listening to Imagine Dragons, which I tend to have very mixed feelings about. It's just a lot of their songs just bother me, and I feel like, and I think they bother me because I really like the sound of them fundamentally, but there's always just something off about it that it's like, you were so close, but you're not quite to what I want. So but for whatever reason, they didn't bother me when I was listening to them. So I was like, okay, this is nice.
I always find like I might have, a judgment on the music, but yeah, like maybe there was some time in between and you came around and you're like, wow, I can actually stand this, that kind of thing. Well, I guess since I'm on, man, I guess we've been listening to a lot of jazz in the house lately, a lot of it. So yeah.
I've been listening on repeat, Bam Bam by Sister Nancy. I love that song. And it's good. It gets good energy. Gets me to get my energy up. So yeah, I've been listening to that. There's a website that you can put in like a like a song, and they'll tell you who sampled it and like what's the original song. And every time I listen to a song, because I know it's sampled, I know that's not the original. So I found out like all the songs I like grew up listening to, like their original songs, and I've been obsessed with all of them. So yes, I'm listening to Bum Bum by Sister Nancy. You should go listen.
So I've been currently listening to a lot of like indie rock and alternative. So I've been listening to a lot of like 30 Seconds to Mars and Lord Huron. So yeah.
I like your jazz idea, Ashley. It's kind of a good time of year to listen to it. I listen to a lot of Delta blues, and like Lead Belly and Lightning Hopkins and those guys. But my favorite's Lucinda Williams. She's not like the old school Delta blues. She's kind of new school. She started kind of like the Americana genre before that was a genre. So if that gives you an idea of what her style is, but it's kind of the time of year to start listening to Joni Mitchell. And so I'm excited about that. There you go.
Quick question. So is Delta Blues a genre or is that the name of a band? And if it's a genre, what's the difference between Delta Blues and regular blues?
Yes, that's a great question. So it's a genre, and so blues kind of grew up along the Mississippi River, and the style of blues that started in Chicago versus St. Louis versus Memphis versus Nashville versus the Delta, so like Louisiana, they're all a little different, and I feel like the Delta blues, they kind of moan a little bit. Like they're just like, just a little bit more relaxed, but like intense too, and just like kind of, it's got that Southern feel to it too, kind of swampy feeling, So I like it. I grew up on the Mississippi River, so I grew up with listening to a lot of blues and classic country as well, but I like the blues. Ethan, I can give you some names if you want to listen to some old school blues guys. So
I'll write them down.
all right. Lead Belly, Lead Belly. And Lightning Hopkins. Those are the two I would kind of start with. Mississippi John Hurt is another one. And then more modern, but a good mix of that kind of genre is Lucinda Williams. She's my girl. Ashley's there to be talking about her a lot. Cool.
Anyone
I
else
just
want to go?
remembered.
Go ahead.
Oh, was someone else saying something?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I just remembered, I think it was over this weekend, I listened to, it's the first time I listened to a Pink Floyd album all the way through. I've listened to a few of their songs, and generally I'm not a huge fan, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to listen to The Dark Side of the Moon all the way through, and I was like, I mean, it's not fully my style, but there's some strong stuff here that I'm okay with.
Ethan, don't you think that when you listen to an album that was put together to be listened to as a whole album, sometimes the sum is greater than the parts,
Yeah, I think that was really interesting because I feel like Dark Side of the Moon was, a lot of the songs really did blend together, and I didn't realize that I was switching tracks. I was just all like, wait, this is a different track? It just transitioned so nicely, and especially since a lot of Led Zeppelin, not Led Zeppelin, for some reason Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin, to me, they are two intertwined words, even though they sound almost nothing the same. They're just linked in my brain. I don't know, but everything was just so solidly linked. However, I think there was like one dividing point, and I think that's right at the middle of the album. and I forget what the track that goes before it, but I know the track that goes after it, where it goes into the second half of the album, and that's where I heard a song that I've definitely heard before, and that's Money. And Money is such a good song, and I've been listening to that over and over and over.
For sure. Yeah, I think that's where the record, you have to flip the record over.
Anybody else want to go? If not, it's okay. We can transition to the next one. All right. So the next question is, if you had a superpower, what would it be? I would choose to teleport just because it would be easier to travel places. So like right now, I could teleport to somewhere like the Bahamas where it's warm or something, not in this cold Michigan weather.
I think that would be mine as well.
Mine would probably be probably it would be to be guilt free. Not like as a superpower, like everything I would do, there would be like no guilt involved. Or that's the first superpower that came to my mind. Or I would be like, who was her name? What was her name from X-Men? Jane. I would be like Jane.
Right?
Yeah, yes, I would be like Jane from X-Men. What was her power again? I just remember she was really cool. I used to watch the cartoon when I was little, but I don't remember anything.
Don't remember the rest.
Yeah, that's what I would do. But guilt free is number one for sure. Because the things like, if you're guilt free, you can do anything. But yep, that's what I would do.
I'm afraid to speak on this one. I don't want to say anything and then not have it, or like speak too soon and then wish I had said something else. So I'm going to save it.
I believe that my superpower would have to be, what's it called? Telekinesis or something? We can read people's minds or like control their minds or something. I think it'd be that one. That'd be pretty cool to like be able to tell somebody, go do this, and then they go do it.
That would be really cool. Wow, I agree.
Mhm. Anybody else?
I can't think of like, I don't know. That's a hard one. How do you
Yeah.
pick?
Don't be trying to steal my powers.
I think I definitely go for like mind reading. I'm curious over the thoughts of others and that sort of thing. So, although that is kind of invasive, but I mean, I don't have to think about the ethical implications of this right now, so I'll choose not to.
Sheena, can you hear us? What's up? Not sure.
Oh, Sheena said, can please state what organizations you're representing. Her computer is doing something weird.
Oh my.
So, PTK is here, Phi Theta Kappa, Nationals, NSCS, right?
Yeah.
NSCS is here, and CAB is here.
My computer is doing something weird, so I'm sorry.
No problem, Sheena. I just texted it. I put it in the chat too.
Want to have anything else for the superpower one? The next question then is, what is one thing you would bring with you on a stranded island? And it only can be one thing. Can't be multiple.
I would bring a water filtrator. Water purifier, whatever it's called.
Good answer, Rala.
Genius. Rala, if we were on the same desert island, then I would bring a fly rod. And I can fish and you can make water.
That sounds fishy.
So, I mean, what if we were all on the same island? Like, how would we all put in?
You have to have your 6 feet distance. Remember that.
Oh yeah. Well, we wouldn't have to worry about food, so there's fruit on this island, I would assume.
I literally don't think I can answer this question without saying something like a boat or a bridge or something. And I'm trying to not be that person, but I seriously cannot.
Good answer. I would probably bring. There's so many things I would bring. But if we're talking about necessities, I'd probably bring like a tent or something instead of sleeping in a tree or like a hammock, you know?
Well, if you did bring a boat, then Lina could fish on the boat.
All I'm saying is I think we would all make a good team if we're on an island together, stranded. Like complementary needs here, folks. This is awesome.
Bring like a huge set of matches.
Anybody else?
I guess not.
Okay, I think we can go to the next slide. So pretty much the rest of the thing I had is having the student organizations with us open up about talk about their organizations and what they want to talk about during the next real talk. And I think the date we agreed on is in a few weeks. I've put the date down, but I've lost the date. Give me a second, I have to find it.
It's October 15th
Yeah.
from 6:30 p.m. to 8 o'clock p.m.
Okay, yeah, that's why I thought it was the 15th. I just wasn't quite sure the time. That's why it is.
And then Brendan, for some context, just as in support to what you just said. So we decided on our topic for the next town hall, which is on October 15th, 6:30 to 8, and it's on student involvement. And the flyer just got finished. We just got a time. I emailed a few of the other clubs, and it was decided on 6:30 to 8:30. No, 6:30 to 8, excuse me. But anyways, it's about student involvement. So what you all want to, because as clubs, we would invite you. Obviously, this is an informal invite, but there would be an email sent out saying all of the information, the Zoom link and everything else like that. But this being an informal invite, just it's letting you all know when it is and what it is. But just be thinking, and if you have anything to share right now as to what you would want to share during the real talk, like it's about student involvement, so we could literally talk about anything. And like, what do you think student involvement is and how you define student involvement? And just like, and the environment is going to be less like talk and listen, I guess. So we would just, you have points obviously as to what we would want to talk about, but then we would leave it more open for students to ask us, like, oh, what's Phi Theta Kappa? Like, how do you get in there? Or like, you know, whatever. And that's pretty much what it is. The structure is still kind of pending. Like, we have an idea of how we want it to look and how we want it to feel, but mostly we want it to be driven more by the students, which is a tall order because, you know, we got to get students in there first. So that's the reason why we wanted to get everything set so we can start like promoting and stuff. So again, we'll be emailing out everything you need to know, like the flyers, so you can post individually. But now the question is, what do you all want to share to the students in the Real Talk on the 15th about student involvement? That's what we're saying here.
Your target audience is students who aren't currently involved, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So like, what would you want students to know who haven't gotten involved quite yet?
Yes. So for Student Alliance, what I think, and then like the other members on our team can share too, but what students want to know is that like how much we actually do. So it doesn't seem, when I was like outside looking in, I was like, oh, like, you know, they don't do anything. But I got in here and like, it's a lot, not like task wise, but just like, it's a lot of fun. And through everything we're doing, like, it's a lot, like I get a source of like achievement and like a source of like accomplishment and like, you know, some dignity a little bit. But yeah, it's just a good, like, it's really a good something to do. You know how you need something to do. It's just a good something to do. So what I would share with the students is that like, oh, like if you didn't know, Student Alliance is like student government, and you know, we do a number of things. There's not really a specific thing that we do, but just communicate between the faculty and like the student body. And then, you know, we're pretty cool. Like it's not a real tight environment. It's kind of relaxed. Like, you know, everybody play their part and everything, you know, turns out okay. Team player type, but that's kind of like a synopsis of as to what like I would share about, oh, if you didn't know, this is like the insides of what Student Alliance is like. So yeah, if you guys want to go and like share, what would you share with students? That'd be great.
Well, for me, when it comes to that, I'm someone who's like been very busy and stuff like that. And as a student, we have classes, we might have jobs and stuff like that. I just want to talk about of how like people are doing, because in a time like this, I'm struggling as well. I don't like online classes, but I have to do them either way. But I just want to talk about how life is treating them, because if people have bad days and they can't do anything, they feel down on themselves. And with the current situation we are at, I just hope things get better. That's it. I want improvement. I just like how you said, is making sure that we have something to do, like that good something, instead of just being at home, stuck at home, not being able to do anything basically. So yes, I like that topic. I want to continue that.
Oh my gosh, that's such a good, like, I don't know the way you said that. It's important to let them know that like this isn't a regular situation, and just helping them understand that with these organizations there is lots of positivity, as much as it's another thing to be doing. And like I totally relate, like it's just so busy. I don't know why it's been this busy, but just letting them understand that there's so much positivity in all of these organizations and all of these clubs and stuff like that. I forgot that's a good, like, kind of a good origin for us to all branch off of, is like positivity, but also being real. But yeah.
Well, maybe talking about like asking them what kind of events or webinars or what would be beneficial to them to kind of improve that experience, maybe.
Yeah, I like that. And like, what would be some to help improve that? Like, obviously, like all of our clubs would be, and organizations would be something that they could like reach out to, but like webinars, we would have to go like figure that out, and it would be good like a resource list or something like that. I don't know, but webinars, we can definitely get on that, and try to get everything that they can possibly attend and go to feel more like confident in their role as like a student, especially like virtually. So yeah, that's something that can definitely be done.
Sorry if I'm quiet, you guys. I'm just typing up notes. Sorry. Trying to keep up with all of you.
What about like friendships you've gained, connections you've gained in at GRCC, like how you've met other people and that might have helped like your journey or someone else's journey along the way?
Miss Lena, you took my idea. I just couldn't know how to explain it. It was like I want, like how you said, how do you socialize with people when it comes to it? Like that's what I wanted to say, but I didn't know how to say it. But
Perfect.
yes, yeah.
Team effort. And what about like skills that you've gained by getting involved? So like you guys have all learned how to like plan meetings, do things that you need to do around campus, like reserve space or connect with other students, that kind of thing. So you probably built your resume in some kind of a way. Probably on some free food and swag. You know, like those are like those basic kinds of things a lot of times are the things that draw students in. And then you can talk a lot more about like that, the deep cut stuff of like building those friendships and relationships and all the value that you guys have gained as well, you know?
Yeah. And then what you got me on was when you said like that typically draws students in. So maybe we could all also share what drew us in originally and like why we're in the positions that we're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that down.
Have you felt that student organizations are a way to feel included on campus? And feel like you have a community of people? You know, maybe that's something that, Brendan, come on now. Were you shaking your head? Were you like making fun of me shaking your head?
No, my dad was saying something to me, so
Oh.
I was just responding to him while paying attention to
I
you.
thought
Sorry.
you were like teasing me.
No, you're good. I was just trying to respond to my dad non-verbally. You're good though.
I definitely go into the projects that we've been working on in PTK because we've been doing stuff, and as a result of those things, like I have met a fair amount of people on staff that it's like, oh, now you were the person that interviewed me and such, or you're one of the people that was proposing that idea in that one meeting and such. So definitely like the connections like within staff, which is going to give opportunities of like, you know, letters of recommendation and such.
Good job so far, guys.
Yeah, so connections is definitely a big one in my opinion, because coming into community college, I thought I was just gonna be in and out. Like there weren't gonna be any connections and like any relationships or anything besides with the people who I already knew. But connections with faculty is definitely a big one, because I've gotten to know like so many people in student life and stuff like that. And like just emphasizing like the relationship aspect of it, like connections and how like they build like long-term relationships or even short-term, or just like relationships where you're able to take something from it, like even if it's not necessarily like a beneficial, it just is like take what you need type of deal. And so I was thinking like maybe we could have like not categories necessarily, but like, okay, so one talking point would be like what our experiences as students on student organizations, and then I don't know what the setup is going to be looking like, but I definitely think that like all the points that you all have said already are points that are like super valid and important for like students to know. And I like the dialogue that we're having right now. And if you, cause I'm like trying to take notes and get every single thing, but I'm sure I missed a lot. So before anybody gets too deep into it, if you need to email like myself or Brendan or Rala or anything like a talking point that you may have, or even just bring it on the day of the actual like town hall, then that's totally fine. But I just don't want you to feel rushed to like answer, like come up with something. So I just wanted to say that because I know sometimes I crack under pressure. I don't want anybody like, you know, freaking out or anything because it's not that type of deal. So.
Have any of you found a connection between like being involved in like your academic achievements?
For like right now, like since we're doing school and what we're doing right now?
That's a good point. I mean, kind of pre-COVID or yeah, now.
If I back then as a connection, I was more involved with HSO. Like I would always be around the people on stuff like that when we were in school. But once COVID came around, I kind of backed off a little bit because not only was because COVID was not, it was a no-no for me. So I backed off. I was like physically and mentally like trying to like be myself, but I couldn't. But until Talia and then Billy came around from like HSO, reached out to me, were like, oh, what are we gonna do? I was like, oh my gosh, are we still doing this? So like during like right now, it helped me a little bit because it distracted me from the stress, but also it helped me like work more, I would say. Like even though I don't like online at all, it helps me a little bit to like be involved with my group and make sure that I'll be able to do it, because now since I have like a babysitting job, it's also hard to take care of a kid and do homework and do everything else. But it's a mix of everything, and right now the relationship is stable. I think I'm stable, but other than that, it's what I have.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's loaded, but I think it's so real, and you're probably not alone in that experience, even if it varies. Yeah, I think you're kind of talking about like accountability. Like you're feeling like there are people that, and like you're a part of something and you want to show up and you want to do your best. That's cool.
I know I'm not a current student, but my freshman year, my grades were not good before I got involved. I was, just too social and not paying enough attention to my classes and that kind of thing. And then somebody came to me and said that they wanted me to be a part of a student organization. And from then on, my GPA, like I had lost my scholarship my first semester. My second semester, I got involved. I was able to get my scholarship back. And then ultimately, like getting involved on campus is what led me to my work, so that changed my life really. But my grades improved drastically and I was able to kind of recover after that first really not good semester. So yeah, it made a big difference in my life for sure.
I think too, like I used to really hate public speaking. Like if I could get out of public speaking was awesome. And with like, especially during COVID, like you have to kind of just throw yourself into it and get used to it. And now it's like this week I've had 4 days of online meetings that were face to face and hosted a coffee hour and stuff. And a year ago I would have been like, no. So I think with that, and like I'm also involved with the GRCC honors program, and they do you have to do honors projects pretty much about 4 or 5 of the semesters. And with that, I've been able to kind of create further projects on things that I want to focus on in my academics. And so yeah, I think with student organizations, they get you a lot more involved in your academics too.
That's awesome, everybody.
Also, I feel like when adding with that, I feel like at some point when people who were like introverts back then, finally realized like sometimes it is good to socialize, and people in general who've never liked to socialize realize it now after like COVID has happened. Sometimes we do need to socialize with people, but it's not for everyone. I know that sometimes, but like I realize my brother, he's never been very talkative, and he's like someone who doesn't go out. But like one time he was like, I need to get out of this house. Like I need to go out and talk to someone else that's not you, mom or dad. So it's something I understand what she says when it comes to public speaking. Like no one usually does that, but since now it's something that people need to do.
That's such a good point. Like, before I was like in this position, or even when I first started, like I would not say anything. Like I have something that was not even pressing that, but like a thought or an idea, and I would just hold it and hold it and hold it and hold it. And I guess like I don't know, but like a breakthrough happened. I'm like, okay, well, more so now because it's like I can't just hold ideas because I'm in a team. Like I can't. That doesn't, you know. And like in classes, like I have a question and I just wouldn't ask it. And it's definitely helped being like, because I feel like being in a student org is like, it's already validating because like, you know, you're on a student org and you have like other people who like you're accountable for and yourself, and like you have things you're responsible for. And it's just like a lot of like, it's uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable at first, definitely. Because I was extremely out of my element, but like when I got more comfortable with it, it helped me in different areas of my like personality to like, okay, well, how about you speak what you're thinking and you share this idea? And slowly but surely, I mean, as you can see now, like I don't have any problem with that, but it definitely helps when you have like borders or like not boundaries necessarily, but I'm gonna say like borders, and you know, you're kind of like hesitant to cross over. Like, do I really want to say that? Or do I really want to like, you know, or go to that? My big thing is like going, I'll be like, oh, I don't want to go. But, you know, it's like the habituality of it is definitely helping with like, you know, me expressing myself more, not necessarily being like outspoken or like extroverted, but it's like, cause I can do that all day, but like expressing myself is like, you know, you know, it's like to back it up, but it's definitely helped with like, shyness and like timidness. So you guys are right. Those are really good points.
Very cool. Well, Student Alliance, are you guys planning on like putting this in a Google Doc and then sharing it with the folks who are planning on kind of presenting? And then we can spend the next couple weeks developing the agenda based on what everybody just said today.
So I kind of made like a rough note thing. So if people want, I can share it with you guys. It's more or less just like bullet points right now, but you guys can add in more on what you talked about. Student Alliance people, you should have it already, just letting you know, because it's in our drive. If everyone wants to drop their email too in the chat, I can probably share it with you guys all very quick.
And then Brendan, off of like that, we can make like a Google Doc as to what the rundown is gonna look like. And then that'll be like kind of what people go off of during the actual town hall. So based off the ideas and like the talking points we had today, we can just make like a big document and share it, saying when people talk and like, you know, things like that, because we don't want everybody like, I don't know, talking over each other. So
yeah, like I said, bullet points are just like the guide, like if just in case they forget what they said or anything, they have a rough estimate what they said.
Yeah, and that's helpful because like we can use that to make, and we have to send the email too, so be expecting a couple of things from us.
Very cool, you guys. I'm interested to hear some student organization reports. If you're done with this part of the conversation, I know that was the last slide you guys had. I think it was the last slide, right, Brendan? Yeah, so if we could hear some club reports, I think that'd be really good too, right now. Like I know, Ethan, you guys have been working on some stuff. Sarah, you guys have some stuff going on. Let's hear it.
Okay, so
You can go.
Okay, so what we were working on for Phi Theta Kappa is we're doing what's called the Honors in Action project. And that's a research project that we try to kind of help the community with. We're still kind of trying to figure out a research question on there, like, but we, we're making progress. We're basically on the philosophy right now that we want to start big, and then as we go, we're going to narrow it down. So where we've started is we've kind of been going into international students being one focus on how that affects academic success, where someone like which school they went to when they grew up, and how their household was. And one of the things that we've kind of pushed into as a result is we've been doing some research on how being in a violent environment might affect academic outcomes. And we're kind of expanding from there, but that's kind of where we left off. On our Zoom Q&As, which has been our college project, we've kind of gotten a report of, I think, Lene told us, Lene is our advisor, Lene told us that last she checked, the lowest amount of views on our Q&As was 40. So basically with having like we've just been getting the information out to people, which is just great by all means. I don't think I've gotten any numbers since this, but apparently the provost sent out in his email links to all of our Q&As if anyone's curious about the information. So I haven't seen how that has affected our numbers, but it's probably more than 40 on our lowest views. So it's just great to know that people are getting our information. And so basically what we're doing from there is we just have to write a report. We have our chapter meetings, which we're basically doing stuff. Actually, our upcoming one this coming Wednesday is going to be on, I'm gonna have to look at, I think it's just success in an online world and such. I do not remember who we have as a guest speaker, but I know one of the things that I'd recommended was I'm a huge fan of CGP Grey, if you've ever watched his stuff on YouTube. So we're actually playing the video Spaceship U. If you have seen that one, if you haven't, it's absolutely golden. And if you really want to see it and don't want to be spoiled, come to our chapter meeting, because Spaceship U is, well, I mean, like, yeah, you can watch that anywhere else, but we're gonna get we're gonna kind of have that chapter meeting, kind of discuss like how you can have success in an online world. So that's what we're working on right now.
Sarah, I know you were gonna say something too.
The National Society of Collegiate Scholars, we have quite a few events coming up actually in October. During October 4th to 10th, we have a t-shirt fundraiser for Letters Against Depression. And then October 7th, we're doing 1 Hour of Hope. So we're gonna like write a bunch of letters and decorate cards for them to be donated to Letters Against Depression. And then we're talking to Stacy Heisler on October 8th about mindfulness. And then we have October 30th is our professional development event, and we have Todd Lewis, Dr. McNeely Cobham, and President Pink joining us that day for our diversity and inclusion event. Yeah, and then in between all that, like tonight we have our very first general body meeting, and I found out we actually have 190 members now, which I'm not sure if that's like a lot, but for a starting organization, it's like pretty awesome.
So good, so good. HSO, CAB, what are you guys up to?
HSO, well, we haven't started anything yet, but today we are having our first meeting together in a Zoom to talk with our fellow Latinos and Hispanics to see how their week is going, how classes are going, and I'm actually excited because I want to meet new members.
Really trying to be innovative and really trying to think of new ways to reach students and have good content and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's been interesting, that's for sure.
I heard the beginning of Anna's and the end of Paige's.
I did too.
Okay.
Do you want me to try again?
Yeah, Paige, go for it.
Okay, sorry. I think my Wi-Fi is spotty sometimes. I don't know. It's been going okay. Our September events are done, which is exciting. We did like an emoji quiz and that kind of stuff. We're still figuring out what we want to do for October. We have a lot of different ideas. It's just like deciding if we want to go more like video and posting on Facebook or more like events. We're kind of in between the two things, just seeing how things work out. So yeah, it's interesting.
Did you hear for HSO what we were doing?
I heard the beginning of yours that you guys are having your first meeting tonight and that you're talking about how everybody's doing. And then I heard you say that you're excited and then I kind of lost it.
Yeah, I was excited because we get to have new members. We've been having like the same members for like, I think, well, from last time they said was like 2 years that they've been having the same members, and it's like a small group. But since we're all online, I feel like we might have new members, and I'm hoping that we get new members. And so, and also I get to socialize with friends, so it's a good thing for me. And also we made a new Facebook page for HSO because the last time someone used it was in 2017 and they don't know who's the owner of it. But now if you guys want to go check that out, we have a new page. This is HSO, and yeah, that's pretty much us. So we're just trying, I think we have an event that we're planning, but we don't know if it's like for sure because we're still kind of figuring that out.
For sure. Thank you guys. Student Alliance, did you guys have anything else on your agenda today? No? Anything else for the good of the order?
I don't have any.
Okay. I think my internet's kind of acting weird right now too. So it looks like everybody's good to go. Any more questions, that kind of thing? Student Alliance, we should sidebar about how we can get more student organizations to come to these meetings. It's a requirement for non-academics. So let's put that on our agenda for eBoard next week. And thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of your week.
Thank you, everyone.
You
Have a good weekend.
guys too.